first of all, I don't know what is happening with my hair. Second of all, today I'm going to be doing my Winter Biannual Bibliothon TBR. If you don't know, the Winter Biannual Bibliothon is hosted by a bunch of different booktubers. There's a summer round and a winter round, and this is obviously the winter round. But basically, it's sort of like the Booktubeathon. There are reading challenges and video challenges and Instagram challenges and Twitter challenges, and it's really, really fun. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you the challenges and the books that I picked for those. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first challenge is to read the group book, which is Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten. I have no idea what this book is about, and I don't even know if I'm going to read it. It'll probably be the last book that I read, so it technically won't. It will still be the group book, but I'm not going to be reading it with the other people because I believe they always read the group book first. But if I finish all the other books on my TBR, then I'll start Otherworld. As I said before, I have no idea what this book is about, but if you want to know anything more about these books besides the synopsis that I'm giving, the Goodreads link to the description will be in the description box below. The second challenge is to read a book under 200 pages, and for this I'm going with Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire. I tried to read this book 2 times prior to this, and I just could not get through it. It's such a short book, so I don't know why I couldn't get through it. I think because I felt like the second I start getting into it, it's going to be over. But I feel like now I have more motivation that if I finish this and I want more, I can just move on to the next 2 books in the series that are currently out. This book is a little bit over 160 pages, and the series is technically classified as novella series. If you don't know, this series follows children who go to fantastical lands. They go through a doorway and they just end up in these crazy dreamlike lands, and then they get sent back to the real world, and they get sent to Eleanor West's home for wayward children, and they kind of just get snapped back to reality. It's a really, really interesting premise, and I could not get past part 1. Like, I finished part 1, but then I just never moved on to part 2. I really don't know why, because it was interesting. I think it's just the length that I'm worried about, but I'm going to overcome it. The second challenge is to read a sequel, and for this I'm going with Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. This is the second book in the Wayward Children series, the sequel to Every Heart a Doorway. This series is a companion series, so the books don't really go together, but you should read them in the way that they were published. So this book follows 2 of the characters that are, I believe they're twins, if not just sisters, that we meet in Every Heart a Doorway, and that's basically all I know. But this book could also classify for under 200 pages because it's 180 pages, but I chose this for the sequel. Next is to read a book that you've never heard of before, and for this I'm going with The Book Jumper by, I'm so sorry for I'm pronouncing this name wrong, but it is Child Glacier, I think. I apologize. I will try and find an interview with this author where they say their own name so I can pronounce it right in the future. But I've literally never heard anybody talk about this book, and I've seen it in a store before. 2 Barnes & Noble visits ago, I saw this in the paperback version and I was like, I'm gonna get it. But basically this book is just about this girl named Amy Lennox, and she goes to her grandmother's house, and her grandmother tells her that she needs to read while she's with her. But Amy doesn't read in the normal way. She can actually go into the books and experience everything that the characters are. I think it sounds really cool. It has to deal with books, so I'm down. It seems really, really interesting, and it has to deal with books, so I don't know why I've never heard any other people on BookTube talk about this. Maybe they have, I just have not found that video. If you have heard of this book, tell me where in the comments below so that I can check out that video. I think we're on the 4th challenge. I don't know, but regardless, whatever number challenge we're on, the next challenge is to read a book that has some sort of mental illness representation. And for this, I'm going with History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. I only found out that this was a mental illness representation book from Emma over at Emma Books. I'll leave her channel in the description box below, but I was watching her mental illness recommendations video, and I saw that she put this on here, and I actually found out this is an Own Voices novel. So one of the characters in the book, as well as Adam Silvera, which makes it an Own Voices novel, suffers from obsessive-compulsive disorder, more well known as OCD. I think reading books that have some sort of mental illness representation is really interesting because you get to learn about a population that's very different from you. The next challenge is to read a book that you've heard of in another book, TV show, movie, etc. And for this, I'm going with The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. This is a bind-up of Hans Christian Andersen Sanderson's fairy tales, and the Snow Queen is obviously in here. But in the second book of the Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer, The Enchantress Returns, they go to defeat the Snow Queen, and I thought the Snow Queen was so interesting. When they went to see the Snow Queen and defeat her in the book, I thought she was so interesting. So when I saw this challenge, I was like, I finally have a reason to read the original. I just think the Snow Queen is so interesting, and I cannot wait to learn more about her. And the last challenge is to read a backlist title, which, if you don't know, a backlist title would just mean a book that was published before 2017. And for this, I'm going with Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I believe this book was published in 2013, so a long time ago. I really have no idea what this is about. I got it for Christmas, and I've definitely heard about it before. I own all of V.E. Schwab's books. Like, I don't own every single one, but I own every single book in her series. Did that make any sense? Probably not. But this is pretty short, and it seems so interesting. It's basically just about these two college students who try and make a monster or something. But I'm excited for it nonetheless. This video took way too long than I was expecting. But anyway, tell me in the comments below if you're participating in the Winter Biannual Bibliothon and what books you will be reading. I will leave the original video stating the reading challenges in the description box so you can check it out as well. I will also leave the reading challenges list in the description box, so just check the description box because I leave a lot of stuff down there that will help you guide yourself through the video. If you want to participate in the Winter Biannual Bibliothon, it starts on January 20th and ends on January 26th. There are 7 reading challenges, but again, all that stuff is in the description box. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, all of my links are, you guessed it, in the description box below as always. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!